Hello, I welcome you all for the lab session where we are going to implement today a 3D Sierpinski gasket, okay, which is going to have the number of recursion steps to be specified by the user, where user should give the input. Based on the input, it should divide the given tetrahedron into number of the triangles. This is what we need to discuss today in our lab set, okay. So first and foremost thing, uh, let me load with the program for you guys. Okay, so I'm going to go for share screen. Okay, fine. I think just give me a minute. Let me open my program before. Okay, it is not showing. Fine, not a problem. Okay, yeah. Okay, okay. I'm going to have. Okay, fine. Now let me show. Okay. So what we need to do is we need to divide a given triangle, okay, recursively. Okay, and there are one more name we are going to call it as a 3D Sierpinski cascade. So the first one foremost thing is I should decide with my vertex. Before I'm going to start my program, I should try to draw a vertex for a given triangle. So for that, I'm having a image, okay, so which I have already drawn. I'm going to show you. Now consider in the above diagram where we are going to have x and y axis. Let me take the unit as 0.5. Okay, I have done roughly. Okay, you can do it very properly and it will be looking very nice. So 0.5, 1.0, 1.5 on the x-axis. Similarly, 0.5, 1.0, 1.5 on the y-axis. Similarly, minus 0.5, minus 1.0, minus 1.5 on the minus vertex of a y-axis and minus vertex of the x-axis. Now, what I want to do is, okay, so I need to recognize the point. So every tetrahedron consists of 4 vertex. You are going to come to know how they are going to be considered as a 4 vertex. So let me find out the origin. The origin is v naught 0, 0.0 comma 0, 0.0. Okay, do you understand? And this is x coordinate and this is y coordinate. I'm going to tell you more about the z coordinate in the end of this diagram. Okay, now 0, 0.0. Now take on the x side, draw one more vertex v1, okay, on the y axis, that is 0 comma 0, 0.0 on the x point and 1.0 on the y point. Similarly, come to this part and draw a one more vertex where x is minus 1.0 and y is minus 1.0. Similarly, come to this point and draw a one more vertex, okay, where x is 1.0 and y is minus 1.0. So your triangle is ready, right? So now what you need to do is, this is a 2D image which you have tried to draw, but usually in the computer graphics you need to recognize with the 3D images. Okay, so that is when I say 3D image, it is going to be considered as a z-axis. And keep it in your mind, there is no specific rules, okay, for deciding the vertex. Sir, why you have taken origin as only v naught? Why you have taken the the y-axis as v1 here as a vertex? It is left to you. I can take this as v naught, I can take this as v1, this as v2. It's left to you clearly. Okay, there are no rules. But coming to the z-axis, okay, that's a 3D dimension which I cannot draw on the proper paper. So what you can do is you can consider that in general, the z-axis is going to be considered by two means. One is called as near and one more is called as far. Okay, near we are always going to consider as a positive and far is always going to be considered as a negative. At present, you consider at present, in order to make this program work, you consider that the z-axis of origin is 1.0 and the rest of the z-axis of all the vertices minus 0.5. Okay, so it is not mandatory that it should be minus 0.5, but you just consider that. Okay, so now v naught is only one positive z-axis and rest of the axes are v1, v2 and v3. The z-axis is minus 0.5. Okay, so with this my tetrahedron is ready. you people can see the tetrahedron consists of 4 triangles. Okay, here if you see V1, V0, V3, 1. Okay, so again you take V2, V0, V3, make one more 2. Okay, now you take V1, V0, V2, 3 triangles. And where is one more triangle? You can see the third 3D triangle, that is general triangle V1, V2 and V3. So now your tetrahedron is ready, which consists of 4 vertex. Okay, so that is what we have designed in the points I'm going to show you in my program. Okay guys, so see what I am doing is I have declared as usual the required library functions, stdlib, okay, library function standard, stdio.h, again the standard input output functions, and gl for glet graphics library and graphics library utility functions. And I am making the default point, okay, float as point. Why I'm going to declare that, I'm going to show you in the upcoming classes. So now you can see the points. Okay, 0 point v0, 0 0.0, 0 0.0, and this is the z-axis 1.0, then again 0 0.0, 1.0. Yeah, people can see here. Okay, so let me show you which I have drawn. Okay, 0 0.0, 0 0.0, 1.0. Okay, and if I take here 0 0.0, 1.0 minus 0.5 minus 1.0 minus 1.0, 0 minus 0.5, and 1.0 minus 1.0, and minus 0.5, x, y, z, x, y, z, x, y, z, x, y, z. Okay guys, this is how I have taken. Now what this is what my points are. So my shape is ready, my vertex is ready. Okay, so let us go to the main part of the program. So you people know always the program is going to be executed in the main part. Okay, so this is how the things works even in case of the computer graphics. There is a lot to tell you guys. Okay, so don't worry. Now what happens, you people know what is this main function will do. It is going to provide, this main function is going to provide the communication between application and the window. Okay, now you people can see my application is visual this software, OpenGL software, and the window is nothing but which I'm going to show the output. Okay, now I need to communicate from front end to back end, because you people believe, you people know that always the output is going to be displayed. Okay, output is always going to be displayed in where it is going to be displayed, you know very well, the output is always going to be displayed on the window. Okay, so now what happens, you know the question is very clear that you need to enter the number of divisions. So we have taken printf, and we are taking the input number of divisions, and we are going to read that divisions. Okay, scanf. And the first part of the every computer graphics program in the main is nothing but glet initiate. What it will do, it is going to initialize the communication between Windows system and the application. Okay, so this is the first and foremost thing every function will do. Now you know the library functions glet initiate display mode. What it will do is always keep it in your mind. In display mode there are 3 types. Okay, which is going to display the characteristics of your display function. So what you need to see display. Okay, so glet single, which is going to glet single, which is going to always have a single buffer, or even if you specify double, it is going to have a 2 buffers. And then glet RGB, this is very very important. Why we have taken RGB in this, there are 2 methods. Okay, even I can have you people can see, even if I wish, I can have index, like instead of RGB here I can have a glet index. What is the work of the glet index? Glet index is going to have limited number of the colors, but when you are specifying glet underscore RGB, it is going to have 24-bit color, means 2 to the power of 24, which is approximately 16 million different types of colors you people can opt. That is the speciality of the RGB and glet underscore depth. Okay, so now what you people need to do is you need to specify the window size. The window size is nothing but here the output screen size. Okay, keep it in your mind, always the output screen will be, if you take the graph, the origin will be like here 0 comma 0. But in case of your computer graphics, it is reverse. The origin where I am pointing the pointing the pointer, from there the origin is going to start. From this origin, what is the what is the position of the window? Okay, actually what is the position of the window? We have not specified the position. Okay, the position will come here. From here there is a distance. If I specify 100, it may be appear here, the beginning of the window. If I specify 200, it may appear at the beginning of the window here. 300, 400, so on. And now we are speaking about window size. What is the size of the window? It is nothing but height and breadth. Okay, height should be 500 and breadth should be 500. Now I'm naming the window, create window. My window name is 3D gasket. So coming back to the reshape function, which is very, very important function. Okay, which is very, very important function. What is the work of this reshape function? So whenever I'm going to divide a triangle, you people know here we are dividing the triangle. You will understand very clearly when you execute the program. We are going to divide a triangle. So what happens whenever we are keep on dividing the triangle, there is a chances of what the shape to get distort, and even the aspect ratio may also get distort. To make the to keep the shape proper, and it should appear in a clipping window. I understand what is the meaning of a clipping window. Here my size of the window is within 500 500 range. If the output of the given program goes outside the window, it is not going to be displayed. So what I need to do is I need to keep this keep this output of the window within a clipping size. So what happens, I'm going to call the function called as glut reshape function, right guys? So now yeah, when I go for reshape function, so what happens here in case of reshape function, there are some more functions. Okay, I'm passing width and height because I need to enter the given output into the clipping window. I don't understand what is the meaning of clipping window, where I can view. If the output goes outside the clipping window, I cannot able to view. Okay, so I'm getting work with my viewing option. So now you people know GL viewport. Okay, it is going to allow you to view the image. So coming back to matrix mode, so by default every time your matrix mode, okay, what is the work of the matrix mode? It is going to change the state of the system. By default every time your matrix mode will be model view, which is here by default. But before you need to set the viewer, we have to change the state, because viewer is going to appear into the projection. So first I need to change the given state of the system to GL projection instead of model view. And then I'm going to load the identity. What is the meaning of loading of identity? Okay, so what happens that in case of loading an identity, you are going to load the given image in terms of a matrix. And when I say load identity, identity matrix is the matrix where all the elements will be of the diagonal elements will be one, because whenever you multiply with the given load identity matrix, you are going to get the same results. Okay, so this is how the things goes with respect to load identity. Okay, and GL ortho, here we are going to set the viewer position, and keep it in your mind, here the viewer may be of 4 parameters or 6 parameters depending on your requirements. The first 2 parameters is left and right. Okay, bottom and top, front, near and far. Okay, the 6 parameters I'm passing in my viewing option, where I can view in all this way: left, right, bottom, top, near, far. If I want to just view left, right, bottom, top, I can only use 4 parameters. I can even use near and far, since it's a 3D tetrahedron 3D image. Okay, so coming back again, since I'm doing further more animations, again I need to change the state from projection to model view. So I'm going to again declare GL matrix GL underscore model view, and some I need to repeatedly display the content. So I'm going to go for glut post redisplay. So this is all about the reshape function, and I'm going to come back and I'm going to go to the display function. Okay, where I am going to view my image. Okay, so when I go for display function, so first and foremost thing is what I have done is, okay, I'm using glut RGB, where I am going to have 16 million colors. So first and foremost thing what I can do is, yeah, since I'm using the different colors, I need to clear the buffer. So what I'm going to call it, GL clear, GL underscore color underscore buffer underscore bit, in order to clear the color buffer. Okay, again I'm going to multiply, because again once I'm going to clear, okay, I need to get the same window. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply it, and here actual logic of my program starts. Okay, this is how here the actual logic of the program, my program is going to start. I am calling a function called as tetrahedron. So what is this n parameter? N indicates number of divisions. Okay, so whenever I call the tetrahedron function, it's a calling function, it is going to jump to the called function. and here I am changing the name of the parameter, nothing more. Okay, instead of n, I am taking m. So once it is going to enter into the tetrahedron, so what happens every time, see, you know how many vertices are there? 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 times I am calling the function divide triangle, which is here, divide underscore triangle. But before going to divide underscore triangle, what I am doing is I am going to change the color of every vertex. Why? Because if I am going to give the same color, I cannot recognize the divided tetrahedron. That is very, very important, guys. Okay, so if I don't give the different colors, if everything comes in a black color, including back side, every vertex v1 in black, v0 in black, v2 in black, everything comes in a black color, and even v3, everything comes in a black color, you cannot able to recognize. So what you need to do is you need to call for a GL color 3F. You know it is RGB. So the first vertex will be of red color, the second vertex will be of blue color, and the third vertex will be of green color, and the other vertex will be of black color. Right. So now what happens? We are going to call for divide underscore triangle function, which is going to take 4 times we are calling. Why? You know, because we are having the 4 vertices. Okay. So now what we are going to do, whenever the function divide underscore triangle calls, it is going to jump here. Right, guys? So the calling function to called function. Okay. So what we have done here, first and foremost thing, we could have called here, okay, like a float. Okay, but what we did, we have changed the type default. People can see in the beginning of the program, we have changed the type default of the point to the float, where we are going to represent an array. Okay, so instead of here, what happens? Float a of 3. It is like this. A point a indicates point here is nothing but it is going to a of 3, b of 3, c of 3. This is what we have made a array. Okay, it is used as a one-dimensional array. So we have changed the float to a point of one-dimensional array. Okay, so now what happens? The first and foremost thing is, okay, we are going to apply the midpoint formula. The very basic logic of this whole tetrahedron program is midpoint formula. Okay, so what happens if m is 0? M is 0. Okay, the first and foremost thing. If we are going to give the m is nothing but number of divisions. It has 2. Every triangle divides the given triangle into 2 times. If you are going to specify m as 3, every given triangle divide the given triangle as 3 times. If you specify m as 1, every given triangle divide the given triangle as 1 time. Okay, guys, but the very, very important thing is, if you are going to give the m value as 0, what happens? You can see my condition here, m should be always greater than 0. Okay, but if I am going to give m as 0, what happens? 0 is less than 0. I'm going to come to the else part. So when I come to the else part, I'm going to go for a function called as triangle, where I'm having only 3 parameters, right? So let me show you. Let me show you here. See, guys, I'm going to just go for a triangle where I'm going to have vertex A, B, C. And whenever I call GL polygon, it is going to be combined. Means the thing is very clear. Whenever I give the value of m as 0, I'm going to just create a triangle. No divisions. So okay, let me show you guys. So I'm going to build my project. Okay, fine. Okay, compile, build, and run. Okay, it is asking please remove the Windows Share application. Okay, so as you people know, when I'm going to give 0, see what happens. It has been not divided the triangle. Okay, so you people can see here only the vertex has been joined. Okay, so this is how the things goes. So this is one vertex, second, and 3. It has, since I called for GL underscore polygon, all the 3 vertex has joined. Okay, so let me share the output screen with you. And thanks to Mahesh sir for telling me. Okay. And where I can find 3D gasket. Okay. I think people can see the shared screen now, output screen. Okay. Okay. So there are three vertex, just the vertex A, B, and C, which you have joined. Okay. Since the division is only 3, M is less than 0. Okay. So this is the first condition. I'm not going to divide further into the triangles, because whenever I give the 0 divisions, no further divisions. Okay, only just I'm going to combine. You people know the one vertex will be red, one vertex will be blue, and one more vertex is black. Okay, so this is about the thing. Okay, come back to our program. If for example the value of m is 1, now what happens? Okay, m is 1 is greater than 0, the condition is true, right guys? So now what happens, instead of taking okay, the condition is true and it is going to enter into the loop. What the basic logic says, midpoint formula says, given vertex, okay, any vertex, I'm going to show you in this diagram, people can see now, any vertex divide by 2. Okay, so this is how any vertex a comma b is vertex, divide it at one point by 2. Any vertex a comma c, divide at, it's like something like x y. So how to divide x y? X plus y divided by 2, x plus y divided by 2, x plus y divided by 2. Like I am going to get the midpoint v1, v2, v3. Are you guys understanding? I'm going to get the midpoint v1, v2, and v3. Okay, I have paused the sharing just a minute. Okay, I'm going to get that. Okay, now coming back to the for loop, why we are taking for j is equal to 0, j is less than 3, j plus plus. Sorry guys, I'm really sorry. J is equal to 0 indicates x-axis, j is equal to 1 indicates y-axis, and j is equal to 2 indicates z-axis. Every time I need to check with the different axes. Okay, so now I'm taking the vertex 1, 2, and 3. Vertex for vertex 1, I'm going to divide into half. Vertex 2, I'm going to divide into half. Vertex 3, I'm going to divide into half. I could have done this much only. Okay, and finish the program. But you people read the question very carefully. It is not a correct output. If I'm going to just, again, let me run the program. Okay, let me run the program and show you the output. Okay. Yeah, if I'm going to enter the number of divisions as 1. Okay, so let me share the screen for the output. Where is my output? Can anybody show me? Okay, 3D gasket. Okay, it is something little slow. Come on, come on, come on. Okay, I think I have opened more than one console. Let me close. Okay, let me close. Nothing to worry. Let me close. Let me open my program. Let me open my program. Okay, compile, build, run, and enter the number of divisions, which is 1. Okay, yeah, which is 1. New share. Where is my output screen? 3D gasket. Okay, people can see my output screen, 3D gasket 1. Okay, fine. We'll again show you. Not a problem. Okay, it is more than one time if you open the command, it is not so compactable. Not a problem, it's coming an output. I'm going to show you. So I was just telling, if I just enter, divide and leave, it is not a proper manner. Why? Because the question has told very clearly, you could use recursive subdivision. Recursive subdivision. And what is a recursion? A recursion is nothing but a function which is going to call itself. Right, guys? I need to make the function to call itself. Now what happens whenever I call this function? Now what happens? M value is 1. 1 minus 1 is 0. Okay, no number of divisions next. Again m minus 1, 1 minus 1 is 0. No number of divisions next. No number of divisions next. So I am going to just divide the given triangle into only once. That's it. Here if I give 0, I'm going to just go to the triangle and create 3 vertex and a call for polygon, and I'm going to combine the 3 vertex. When I'm going to call for 1, just I'm going to divide the given triangle exactly half. Okay, can you see this? Can you see this? Okay. Oh, I think my screen sharing has been stopped. Let me show, not a problem. Okay, so my question of telling is, if I give value of m is 0, 0 is less than 0, I'm going to go for else part. In the else part, it's very clear that I'm going to just call 3 vertex and I'm going to join them, which is going to form a triangle. In the same fashion, whenever I give for a 1, okay, so you people understand 1 minus 1 is 0, means no further divisions, just only one time we are going to divide. Are you guys understanding? And why we should call for divide triangle again? Because he told very clearly we should use what? Recursive function. And what is a recursive function? A function which is going to call itself. Okay, so now what happens, people can see, according to this I'm going to get only one division. Where is my artwork? Okay, I'm missing with artwork. Okay, not a problem. Not a problem. I'm going to share. Okay, I'm going to just divide a given triangle exactly half. Okay, because 1 minus 1 is going to become 0. But let me show you. When m is going to be 2, what happens? 2 is greater than 0. Then I'm going to try for x-axis, y-axis, z-axis, x-axis, y-axis, z-axis for this vertex, x-axis, y-axis, z-axis for this particular vertex. Vertex 3, vertex 2, vertex 1. 3 times xyz, xyz, xyz until and condition become false. Now what happens? 2 minus 1. Again I'm going to division 1. Again 1 is 1 is greater than 0. Condition becomes true. Means I will divide the triangle again and again. When I say 3, again I'm going to divide any given triangle into 3 times. Okay, when I say 4, again 1 time and rest of 3 times, 4 times. This is how we are going to keep on dividing the given triangle into number of small tetrahedrons. Okay, this is all about a. We are going to give the one more name for this tetrahedron as Sierpinski gasket. So this is how the things works. And once we are going to divide the triangle, we are going to go and display the output. So let me show you the output, how it is going to work. I hope you understand very clearly why we need this function again, because we need to go for recursion. Whenever I say recursion, I need to see number of times I need to do the recursion. This is only one time we are doing the recursion. Okay, in general, this is going to suit only when m is 1. But when m is 2, if we doesn't apply the recursion, we cannot able to divide the given triangle again and again. So 2 minus 1, 1 again it will do 2 times. That is what m is 2, number of divisions. When I say 3, this is 1 time and this all rest 2 times. When I say 3, 4, this is 1 time and rest this 3 times. It is going to divide the any given triangle. So let me show you the output. Okay, so compile, build and run. So when I say given division is 0, already you have seen the output. Let me give the number of divisions as 3. So when I say number of divisions as 3, okay, let me show you the output. Okay, where is my output? 3D gasket. People can see here. Okay, okay, people can see here. Any given triangle is again divided into, every triangle is divided into 3 times. Okay, so this is what the whole logic of the program is, and this is, we are going to call it as a Sierpinski gasket. Okay, so I hope I have given a complete information with respect to this program. If any doubts, you people are very free to comment or call me back. I'm going to explain more in detail if you need it, but at present I have covered all the individual point of the program without missing a single statement, which is going to help you to prepare well for the exams. And this is what you need to show as a output. With this, I'm going to conclude the Sierpinski gasket program. Thank you. Thank you guys. Thank you. Bye.